Hi there, good to have you with us this morning. It is 7:22. So, what's next for Prince Andrew and the royal family now that a US judge rejected efforts by his legal team to dismiss Virginia Giuffre's sexual abuse lawsuit against him?
Giuffre filed the civil suit against the prince in Manhattan Federal Court in August of last year, claiming the Duke abused her when she was 17. The prince has consistently denied the allegations. Well, we're joined by Chris Shipp, royal editor for ITV News, and former BBC royal correspondent Jennie Bond and American lawyer Rachel Fiset. Good to speak to all of you this morning. Rachel, what is left for the Duke to do now, you would argue, legally, to try and salvage his reputation? The Sun newspaper has a good headline this morning, "The Damned Old Duke of York." It's an obvious one, but it does feel like for him, not suggesting that he should be saved, we don't know, but he's always denied the allegations. Is there anything legally he can do to stop this being fully exposed with texts and emails?
He can settle the case. And that is what he can legally do to stop it. The judge today ruled this case is going forward and discovery may begin. And discovery is where the texts and emails show up. It's where the sweating shows up. It's where the depositions come and the witnesses and all the facts start pouring out. So if he does not want the facts to start pouring out, he has to settle the case. And that those at this point in time are his options. He may appeal it, but there's not an automatic stay when he appeals it, so that the clock keeps rolling, the facts keep rolling without the judge taking some kind of extraordinary measure to stop the case. And I think today his ruling is pretty clear. He's not going to take that measure.
Chris, let's come to you then, because if that seems to be the option that I don't know, will that be the least painful for the Duke? Would that be the option you think they will try and take to settle this case?
There are no pain-free options here. And I know, Jennie, for example, covers some difficult times for the royal family. They don't come much more difficult than the Queen's son facing a lawsuit alleging sexual abuse. And you look at the three options, which is either to go to trial or to settle or to default. None of them are good options. And if he does want to clear his name, as his team says to me that he does, well, that does involve going to a trial to clear his name. And if he's got to sit down in front of a video camera and give 7 hours of testimony with Virginia Giuffre's lawyer, many people in America say he's one of the best deposition lawyers there is. Well, what's going to happen in those 7 hours? We know what happened in an hour on Newsnight, for example. So, the options facing the Duke are really, really difficult. None of them are good options.
And is there much support for him within the royal family, Chris, just with regards to him saying, I want to fight it? Are the royal family behind him, or are they kind of like, we just need to get this out of the way? It's the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. It's such a huge distraction.
Absolutely. I mean, the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, by the way, comes up in just a few weeks' time. It's the 6th of February that her father died, and she will therefore mark the 70 years on the throne. Look, from what I hear, I mean, his immediate family, Sarah Ferguson, his 2 daughters are behind him, but other members of the royal family very much are not, and are wanting to try and end this in whatever way they can in terms of the damage for the wider institution of the royal family. So no, the support he has in amongst the wider family is very, very thin on the ground indeed.
No, it's devastating. I mean, Chris mentioned it there, Jennie. You have seen some tough times for the royal family, some things that it looked like they might not survive. But here we are in the Queen's Jubilee year, Platinum Jubilee year. She's 95. This is supposed to be her favourite son. The whole thing feels deeply uncomfortable. And actually, his daughters, I feel for. It's very, very tough for them, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right to point to, yes, Beatrice and Eugenie, they're said to be extremely distressed by everything that's going on. I mean, what daughter wouldn't be? And also for the Queen, it is, I think, humiliating, embarrassing, a lady of 95, presumably having to confront her 61-year-old son, favoured son, and say, well, are these sex allegations true? I mean, that's just so embarrassing. But surely she needs to know the truth, because if she's going to stand by him, which I'm sure she'll want to as a mother, and if she's going to foot what is going to be a multi-million-pound deal, whether it's settled in or out of court, then she needs to know the truth. So it's so sad, such a shadow over the beginning of this Jubilee year.
Jenny, how does this compare to some of the sort of the incidents that you were covering on the royal family when you were royal correspondent?
Well, look, the monarchy is going to survive this, and I think the wider damage to the royal family brand will be temporary. I think it was worse in the Annus Horribilis, which the Queen herself christened in 1992. There's a cumulative effect then of divorces, disasters, leaked telephone conversations, some very graphic, some very embarrassing, and the Windsor Castle fire. And also Diana's death, which led me at times to feel that really the monarchy might not survive. I think that was the worst year. But this is bad. This is seriously bad for the family, but devastating and irreparable, I think, for the reputation of the Duke of York.
Rachel, can you just outline what the time frame is, where we are from a legal perspective? Because even if whatever happens now, when can we start to expect things sort of occurring or appearing in court?
The trial is set for some time between September and December. I believe there is a discovery cutoff date in late July, which means things should start happening right away. That's what the judge is asking them to do. I have a hunch that the Duke's attorneys may want to bifurcate the case. They're going to want to really dig back into the settlement agreement and hope to try that alone, separate and apart from any of the sexual allegations, which could put some of the discovery on the sexual allegations running a little behind that. I don't know if the judge would grant that request, but I think we'll start seeing a lot of action as it results from any kind of discovery, depositions, witness interviews, facts. That development will be happening immediately.
Yeah, well, so we're going to have weeks and weeks of things emerging, being discussed. Chris, do you think he can come back from this? Do you think ultimately he'll be stripped of titles and military positions and honours? What do you think, whatever happens, the future will be?
I think the simple answer to the question, can he come back from this, is no, quite frankly. You know, we all know that he stepped down temporarily from his royal duties while he fights to clear his name. I mean, it's looking much more permanent now than it's ever done, that stepping down from royal duties. I mean, as for the titles and all the rest of it, does he have his HRH title? What about all his military titles that he's got? I mean, I think it will be very, very difficult, I mean, impossible really, for the Queen to take those away, because that's almost like judging him before the end of the legal process. So I do think he'll keep all those titles, as much as some members of the military are really unhappy about it, but until the whole thing has come to a conclusion, whatever that conclusion is.
OK, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you very much for joining us, Chris Shipp, Jennie Bond, and from the States, Rachel Fiset.
Now, coming up, a